Good morning, traders. It's Tuesday, it's the 2nd of July. Let's jump straight into the analysis for today, and I'm just going to quickly check in on the economic calendar before we go any further to find out what the high impact events are for today. And you got the retail sales that came out earlier on this morning, and they were horrendous compared to the forecast, so that's pretty disgraceful really. Check that out and see for yourself. We've also got the market construction PMI for the UK, and there's a Fed speech later on this morning, as well as the Canadian market PMI number as well. Carney is going to be speaking this afternoon, so that's going to affect any pound pairs, and yeah, still looking interesting at the moment to be on that. So get yourself onto the website, hover over the signals and go and check out just how much work we've been doing on the FX signals side, because that has really been carrying my personal trading over the last 6 months. So done an unbelievably good return for quarter two, 46%. So really pleased with that. Find out more information on the website. And right, let's jump into the charts in that case then. So if we just load those up and bring them over here. What we've got at the moment is the Dax trading down at 511 on CFD, and we've got a couple of options that might play out today. First things first, we just need to take a big picture view. The daily chart shows a pretty clear gap from over the weekend, from the beginning of yesterday. A doji on an island, pretty much on its own, so that might well be interesting depending on whether we break above the high of yesterday or below the low of yesterday. So I'd be watching out for that. It would seem that it's probably more likely that we're going to have a retracement or pullback, just based on the fact that we've got this doji island visible on the daily chart. If we break below some of these simple lows that we've seen recently, so for example the 500 level, then we could well be looking at challenging the start of this gap. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to completely close the gap, but you would expect it to. And a lot of traders would be wanting to buy a dip, and that would represent a certain dip. But if we just pull a very simple fork through these three pivots here, so we've got the A pivot there, B pivot here, C pivot there, you get this formation. You can see quite clearly how price has bounced from the median line down here, and then gapped the upper median line parallel. So that's pretty interesting. So you would imagine that once you get outside of that upper median line parallel here, it's going to come back to retrace or retest the top side of that upper median line parallel. So what previously was more you would have expected have been support may turn out to be resistance on the other side. So if it digs a little bit deeper into that, this will be the zone that will be looked at, which is the 375 to 410 zone. Certainly doesn't mean it's going to retrace there today. It may well just turn sideways today and not do anything, just to continue to digest some of the gains over the last day and then break, which will give people the belief that we're heading much deeper, and then they get caught in a sell trap as it bounces higher from that zone. So that's the scenario that I'd be looking out for. We'll see whether it plays out. Another scenario, or it kind of really builds on it, is this huge low volume void that we have on the right hand side. You'll see over here on this 5-day composite profile here, 5 days worth of price action. You can see we're currently trading in this kind of top half of the value area, which is the darker section. This will be the bottom half of the value area, but right in the middle of that is this huge low volume area. Ignore the word low, that's just literally this line here, which is the low of yesterday. But it's a low volume area, and that's between 400 and 500, so it's a large zone. But if it cuts into that, you would expect that price would actually look to reach the bottom as it acts as a vacuum. So two things will either happen. We'll either bounce from this zone and it just won't break through it, or we could find a zoom straight through it to the bottom, which will scare a lot of people. But you just got to understand that that's the reason why. There's just nothing in there as far as volume was concerned when it shot through, because it was a gap. So where are we as far as the levels are concerned? Well, we've already taken out the point of control from yesterday. That was at 543. We've been grinding up to that. That's the second rejection at the point of control. You'll also notice as well that we failed to break at the first high of the morning. with that second test of the point of control. That was the first high. This was a higher low than this low, so you would have expected for this high to break this previous one, but it didn't. And we've since gone and created a new low, so that is a mini change in behavior. The thing I'm watching is this particular candle here, because it's quite an aggressive candle to break this previous low here. And so often what you'll find is price will come back to retest that ignition point. So you could see quite comfortably price comes back up to that pivot, which is going to squeeze out anybody that's currently short. So we'll see how that plays. And the other thing I was playing with was the idea of if we just did a very, very simple line set through some of the price action that we've got at the moment, and I kind of decided that it wasn't really anything significant to watch, but I pulled this sort of idea thinking that we could see a zone around about the 500 level, but for me personally I didn't really see this was significant in any way, so we will remove it. Okay, a couple of the other things that I've just got at the moment, it's just a basic Renko idea using an Ishimoku cloud or Kumo cloud. We've got a couple of other things going on behind the scenes here. It's on 5-tick Renko, and the tick size is 1, so I have done it on that. And each time you get one of these arrows, we're looking for price action to flip based on these dots. So if you've got some sell signals but you've still got the dots underneath price action, you'd ignore them until it flips, and this is the situation where we've got that now. We've actually had these sell signals and then it flips, so the dots are above price action. We've also gone below the Kumo cloud, so I'd be liking to see whether or not it manages to hold below that and continue to break below this low. So that's what I'm watching. Right guys, that's me done. I will be back again tomorrow with another video. Get yourself on the website, go and check out the resources that we've got there. Add yourself into the Telegram channel. That particular one is free, and if you need to get hold of me, then you can use any of the contact details that you find on the site. Have a good trading day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.